free weed and free beer you're thinking about doing, right? Which is going to be
So
huge.
we're raising $5 million just for the legal behind free beer, and that will be recycled in the states where legal for free marijuana. Same thing in those states where like psychedelic mushrooms are legal. I own the domain freemagicmushrooms.com for a
Dude,
reason.
that's great.
But here's the thing: you saw what happened with Budweiser by having a trans actor in an ad. Um, however you stand on that, everyone could agree that Budweiser is not happy financially right now. Um, whether you believe that it's immoral that you could be trans, or you're in the trans community and you're like, hey, Budweiser completely like backed this person and now is pulling backing. And I think they kind of both sides think less of Budweiser after the fact on the way they handled it. Versus they probably
Handled it horrifically.
they
They
probably
did it the worst way.
in
Worst way.
advance they could have given Kid Rock like 10 million bucks and have a trans actor there and had them both sharing a pitcher of beer, and it could have like brought everyone together. But look, when we launch free beer at some point, I'm not going to do it till I have the legal coffers filled for the money, but I'm also getting politicians from both sides of the aisle to support us. And that's what I'm working on behind scenes. Our government has a long history of politicians being elected because they gave people free beer. I was recently told by a government person that George Washington, when he first ran for office, not as president, but as something else, actually lost because he was like, I'm not going to give people free Grolsch, which was the beer of the time. And then after he lost, he was like, fuck, I got to win. And he brought back the free beer. The first politicians that back free beer, free food, free electricity, in my opinion, have a road right to the White House. The ones that go against it. And so, but imagine if
That's a very interesting concept to boost
Budweiser
to like
had
launch
this,
the product. That's a
yeah, Budweiser
very
had
interesting.
this issue with having a marginalized community member in a commercial. And but imagine the issue they're going to face when if they try to sue us one day for making beer free, or Heineken, because Budweiser's like, whoa, we're the America beer. But the most free thing of all time, like freedom, would be free beer that donates to charity. Yet there's a good chance that them and other companies and distributors try to then sue us. But I guarantee
I
by
don't
that
even
point,
understand how can they sue you for having your own company doing your own thing. I don't even get that.
anybody in America could sue anybody for anything at any time. And
And
whoever
just
has,
because they have more money, they can destroy you, even though you've
yes.
done nothing wrong. That's so
But the
crazy.
nuance is, and here, we'll talk about free beer in a little bit, and then we'll
I
call it if you want. But
I just want to ask you a couple funny ones. But do you
okay,
want to do
well,
free beer next time?
let me just
You
finish
tell me.
this thought just so we
Okay.
can. Um, every state has a law that's written slightly differently saying that you can't distribute alcohol for cheaper than the price of manufacturing it. That's the law. And so, but every time
Why? That makes
that's the
why
law.
is that even a law? Who even
I don't know. I don't
came
know
up
why
with that?
that's the law in the first place. I should look into it. But now there's gray area depending on the exact laws within that state, because if you've ever went to an event, they might give you a free cocktail. Depending on the state lines, that is blurring the law. If you go to Las Vegas and you're spending money in the casino, they give you all the free liquor you want. So there's different,
Right.
sometimes when they turn a blind eye, and they don't. Now, meanwhile, like in Vegas alone, ChatGPT 4 guesstimates that there's 75 million free beers being distributed in Vegas every year, just in casinos alone. That's a lot, 75 million. Now, those beers, say Budweiser, Corona, whatever, like Heineken, right? So those companies are totally happy right now that they're getting money so that their Budweiser branded beer can be distributed. But when I launched free beer in Las Vegas, and now every casino, instead of it saying Budweiser on the can, now it says Mandalay Bay, 25% off your next reservation, scan here, 50% off the buffet. Hey, go see Sigmy, Fried and Roy or whatever. Like,
That's so smart, Josh. That's
why
so
wouldn't they
smart.
utilize their real estate? Because they're already spending it, they're just not developing it. Then these companies are gonna, my prediction, and I hope I'm wrong, they might attack us. But and they could hear this right now, and on everything I ever post, short and long form, I will have the politicians behind us, so their lobbyist card will not work. Number one. Number
Do you
two,
want to reveal this right now? What you're doing? Do you want
totally, totally. And number
to?
two,
Okay.
number two, by that time we'll have double the following at least we have today. It will be a PR nightmare for any of them. Look at Budweiser just putting a marginalized member of society in a commercial. Imagine what will happen to like Corona or whoever if they go against, the free beer movement, let alone free food. And then like any politician who tries to go against it will not be elected, in my opinion.
What is the timeline on that? Do you think 2 years, 3 years, 4 years?
The moment that I raise the 5 million for the free beer, we will start immediately.
Okay. So it depends.
I will instantly start building that factory as close to Las Vegas as humanly possible, and or other places, maybe New York, or it depends on where I decide at that time. And I will, have my own lobbyists working for us, and that same what's it called? The same legal behind free beer. I'll recycle for free legal marijuana, but I don't think, as far as I believe, there's no law stating that you can't distribute legal marijuana for cheaper than the price of manufacturing. So I don't even think there'll be anything to recycle. I'm pretty confident I could launch free legal marijuana today. But you could still face lawsuits just because anyone in America could sue anybody for any time, unfortunately.
Watch full episodes of Chairman of the Board on YouTube and Spotify.